Adrian and Isaac, you two are called over to basically the Sept's local bar and tavern. There's a really catchy song named after it. The tavern is called the Rising Sun, and it's kind of off to the side of Main Street, Saint Denis. And while the two of you are, getting, having some drinks or eating dinner, that's when two of the Sept elders approach you. The Sept elder Margaret Apollo's Vengeance, a Black Fury, and then the Master of the Rite, Mary Moon's Shadow, is for you, Adrian, a fellow Shadow Lord. And Margaret approaches the both of you and kind of joins you guys at your table and says, if the two of you are interested in forming a pack, because to my knowledge, I know the two of you have been going on missions together for a while, but to my knowledge, you're not officially a pack. If you two are interested in supervising a Rite of Passage, there are 3 potential pack members for you.
Adrian nods, thinks about it a minute, and says, "What's the catch?"
Well, the catch is that you would just be supervising their Rite of Passage. For the duration of their mission, you wouldn't be taking charge, just supervising, giving advice when it's needed. After that, well, there is a Silver Fang among the 3 that might want leadership, but I don't really know him too well. Apparently he has a cousin that's in the Silver Pack. Other than that, and very famous family members, I don't know too much about him. You might have bumped into Lazlow. He's a Bonegnawer that's been here in Saint Denis. And then there's also a Black Fury, Cara Messerli. She's coming all the way over from West Elizabeth, over by Strawberry. And the Silver Fang's name is Heath O'Connor.
O'Connor, an Irish Silver Fang. Yeah, I'll do it. I have no problem with the Silver Fangs, the Black Furies, or the Bonengnawers. I'll do it.
And Margaret and Mary both nod, appreciating it, and then Margaret turns her attention over to Isaac to see what he thinks.
I see no issue with it. I'm always willing to help teach somebody if need be.
Teaching the young only makes Gaia stronger.
Yep.
All right, that settles it. And Margaret buys the two of you a round of drinks and says, meet us over by the warehouse, the one that's by the docks, the one that's closest to the cairn. And with that, she'll leave you to your drinks. As she and the Master of the Rite leave, you see Margaret kind of elbow her a little bit and say, you owe me $10.
That's a good sign.
I don't know, they had a bet. They had a bet that a Shadow Lord wouldn't actually see the benefit of having a Silver Fang come around him. Oh, you kind of cut out there. When did they say to meet at the...
Oh, they said to meet at the warehouse that's near the cairn later that evening.
So that gives him enough time to go home, settle things with Izzy, and then... Alright. So like a typical Shadow Lord, no, he's not gonna fuck with the elders. Never mind. He's gonna show up exactly on time.
It's always a good idea.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough clout just yet to show up whenever the fuck he wants. Mm-hmm. So, at sunset, he's going to be there.
And Isaac's probably going to be there a little bit earlier. Kind of sit around or, get a little bit more familiar with the area. Because he's definitely not from around here for too long. Mm-hmm. He doesn't stay in that place for too long to get to know it too well.
How did he get into Saint Denis? Did he take a train or go by carriage or?
He went by train.
By train? Okay.
Yes. There's a station close to the Emerald Plains, and that's the closest way to get in between uh, Saint Denis and Legras,
Hmm.
where he usually does business. So he is told to come to this warehouse at the docks in Saint Denis, and he left the day before to get there in the evening.
Okay. And then Alyssa, for Cara, she had quite a train ride.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Baby's first train ride.
Baby's first train ride.
Thomas, I like how you said that as soon as you picked Zaya up. Behold, a baby.
A child. And then for Lazlow, you live in Saint Denis, so you're like a hop, skip, and a jump away. Before you head out to the warehouse, Lazlow, your mentor actually shows up to kind of see you off. She is also a Galliard, and her name is Myrtle, and her deed name is Encore for More. But yeah, and she shows up as you're kind of on your way over. She asks you, "Hey, Laz, are you excited? Nervous?" Well, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. She laughs a little bit and pats you on the shoulder, and she says, "It's okay. Just take a few deep breaths. Like literally, all I did for my rite of passage back in the day was I did a performance as a distraction, and they asked for an encore. It's simple. It's gonna be easy. I'm sure you'll do fine. I've heard rumors they're actually going to send you a little bit away from the city, but it's gonna be easy. Hope so. I'll do my best regardless." She nods and says, "Well, that's all anybody's going to ask of you. Just do your best. I'll see you when you get back." And she kind of walks you over to the warehouse and sees you off as you walk inside and join everybody else. But yeah, Heath and Cara, let's say you arrive the day before. The two of you actually get off of the same train, and you're given directions to the rising sun. And when the time comes around for the ceremony to happen, you both realize that you're walking out of the door together and bump into each other.
Excuse me, ma'am. Didn't mean to bump into you.
She's gonna be quiet for a bit. It's clear that she's, like, never been to Saint Denis before. And she just looks fucking terrified.
Heath looks at her up and down, analyzing her for a moment, and lets out a sigh. First time being here?
And she nods. I'm from Strawberry.
That's pretty far away from here.
She nods again.
Not very talkative, are you?
She shakes her head no.
I take it that you're going to a specific place.
I suppose. Aren't we all?
And he scratches his head underneath his hat. You don't know the city, do you, Will? Or
Nope.
at all? How about I take you to where you need to go? Because my gut's telling me I'll have to follow you around. For better or for worse. So, what's your name?
Cara. And yours?
Heath. Pleasure to meet you, ma'am. So, shall we go? I know the city well enough due to some business. So, I could probably lead you where you need to go.
Alright.
And so, as a quote-unquote gentleman, he opens the door and lets her come out at the bar and begins to lead her through the city. So, where exactly are you going?
Thomas, where are we going?
We're going dogs.
The warehouse by the docks.
Oh yeah. Listen.
We got a letter for it.
Oh yeah.
It's like we can show him the letter.
I can't swim. I can't read.
Is this in character or out of character? Because okay, I was gonna say because he just gonna stare.
I'm sorry.
yes.
I had a really fucking long day today.
I know. So, they begin to walk out of the bar. And I'm gonna ask you again. So, where are you going?
Docs. And she's gonna pull out the letter that she got and probably read the line of like the address of the particular warehouse.
I'm gonna raise an eyebrow, and he's just gonna say, "Oh no," and that's a tired sigh. Come on, let's go. I gotta be there too.
She's gonna just like blink in confusion.
Once you get there, you'll know. Trust me. And he just mutters, like, "God damn it! Why do I have to fucking babysit now? This is not." I used to be a fucking businessman like a few days ago, but no, I had to get involved in this shit without even knowing. And he just lead them towards the docks.
When you guys show up, you see Laz and a woman walking into the warehouse. And when you guys step inside, when all three of you arrive in the warehouse, it's kind of this kind of big open, like it's some space has been cleared out for this ceremony that's about to happen. And in the center of the room, there's this kind of small bonfire that's been set up inside of a steel drum, and the ceiling of the warehouse has been opened up to kind of let the smoke out. And you see the Sept Elder, Margaret, and the Master of the Rite, and then you also see Adrian and Isaac. And Margaret beckons you three forward, and she steps around the fire with Mary, and she says, hello, I'm Margaret. It's nice to meet the three of you. I'm the Elder of the Sept. My deed name is Apollo's Vengeance. And Mary speaks up and she says, I'm Mary Moon's Shadow. I am the Master of the Rite. And the two of them motion for Adrian and Isaac to introduce themselves.
He steps up and takes a step forward. He's a very small individual. He's 5.5 feet tall, and he's really skinny. He looked like he spent his whole life incredibly sick. He's dressed very rich, all in pretty much all black, a white shirt with the black tie, black vest, black jacket, more or less ready to go out and do a mission kind of thing. He does have guns on him. And for those that are familiar with the Guru glyphs, the handles of his guns actually has the Philodox symbol on it. He steps up, looks at them all and says, I'm Adrian. I'm also known as Little Shadow Reveals the Truth. I am a Philodox. I am a Shadow Lord. And I am a Fostern. Any questions you have, ask. I'll help you along with your little task here. And then he looks over to Isaac.
Isaac is definitely much taller than his friend. About head and shoulders. A little more average at this era, so almost close to 6 feet. Very lanky. Dark skinned. He looks like he could be a half breed, probably. Other half is probably Mexican or Indian, something like that. Kind of not really clean shaven. He has a couple scars on his face. Wearing all black. Yeah, black hat, black jacket. Everything is black. The only thing that isn't are the looks like silver, but is actually really polished iron on his belt and on filigree on his guns and whatnot. His guns offset his appearance 100%. So you have, he doesn't look like he has a coin to his name, but his guns are very, very nicely made. Probably very expensive as well. He's a little bit more reserved, and he nods to him. Isaac Freeman. Call me Laugh Last. He likes to call me Odd Job for some weird reason. He knows. He's just kind of smiling about it a little bit, but his smile doesn't last very long. Silent Strider, Ragabash, Bounty Hunter, whatever you want to call me. Kind of second in command of this fellow here. And that's it. He steps back in, sits down.
Margaret steps in and she says, I've told Adrian and Isaac a little bit about each of you. I know one of you is a local here in Saint Denis, and the other two of you we imported. And she laughs a little bit. And then her expression turns a little more serious, and she says, so for your rite of passage, in order to be considered fully grown Garu of the nation, we do have a mission for you. As of late, there have been a number of poachers across New Hanover, over by Valentine, that have been killing the wildlife, the bison in particular, and leaving the carcasses, only taking the horns. Sometimes they don't take the horns at all. They have just been outright killing the bison with no restraint and no remorse. We're investigating the matter, but we think it might be connected to the Wapiti reservation and the conflict they've been having lately with the United States Army. What we would like you to do is to track down these poachers and deal with them as you see fit. We only need you to make sure that they don't poach ever again.
Sounds easy enough. May I ask a question?
Oh, sure, go ahead. What's your question?
Do you have any clue or any idea where to start? Anything that give us a starting point? Or do we just go there and figure it out as we go?
Well, we know that they have been killing the bison in the Heartlands area. There have been other sightings of them over by Citadel Rock, might be where one of their camps are. But as far as we know, they travel often and they travel very quickly. And it's not just bison they're killing either. They've just been killing animals left and right.
Is this, do we think this is typical trappers trying to get as much fur, horn, and usable stuff that they can to sell? Or do we think this is something a little bit more nefarious?
These trappers are doing a lousy job of gathering resources. That's just a waste of money.
Yeah, well, white people have a tendency to do that.
He just raises an eyebrow.
Isaac smiles.
You can raise your brow all you want there, Silverfang. I'm telling the truth. People have a tendency to do that stupid shit.
Well, from what we've been able to find out, they haven't even been taking the furs either. We think they're being paid by some third party, or perhaps unofficially by someone in the army, to kill animals indiscriminately so that the local reservation doesn't have enough game to feed their people.
Isaac, do you have a map?
Margaret adds, they've been seen as far south as the Heartlands and as far north as the Cumberland Forest.
More or less what Adrian's looking for. They pull out the map and they look at it. It says, is there any way to see where they've hit? Is there any way to mark close to it? I know you said Citadel Rock, so that'll be a stop. I don't like how close it is to the oil fields. Maybe we can cause some trouble there while we're there.
I'll leave the oil fields up to your discretion. But Citadel Rock, Twin Stack Pass. You could probably also ask around Valentine or Flatneck Station and see if anyone there has heard about the poachers. From what we've heard, the poachers have mainly been concentrated in western New Hanover.
Near the river. Near Valentine.
Yes.
Flatneck Station there. Okay. Well, it gives us a place to start. Is there anything else these guys need to know before you let them go? He said that to the elders.
Well, besides their mission, come back in one piece and you will be Cliath of the Garu Nation. And if everything goes well, if you all come back in one piece and as one group, then we will officially make you a pack. And then you will be free to go as you please.
Sounds good.
All right. Understood.
He looks to the three younger ones. Do you guys have horses, guns, everything you need to do something like this?
Cara shakes her head no.
We will need to stop at a stable to pick up some horses. This young lady and I came from the train station, more likely, since she's from far from here. And I just came on the train as well. I do have my weapons, but no horse.
You're Heath, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're Cara. He's pointing to each one individually, and the one over there is Laz. Do you recite Shakespeare over in the pavilion?
Huh?
Do you sing? Recite something? I've seen you before. Yeah, see, I knew it. I've seen him before. Okay. Do you have a horse and guns? Do all of you have enough money to buy a horse?
Yes, money
No.
should be no issue. And he turns to Adrian. Adrian was you, right? Little Shadow.
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna take me a while to remember. He turns to Adrian and says, "If they don't have the money, I can always cover for them."
How much you cover Cara and I'll cover Laz?
That's fine. Though, and then he looks at you, Cara. She says, "Do you know how to handle a weapon?"
The most I've ever handled was a hunting knife.
Okay.
He looks to Laz. Do you know how to use a weapon? Looks like we have a winner for the shotgunner of the group here.
Yeah.
Point and click. It won't be a problem. All we got to do is keep you alive long enough to get your name.
It appears that way. Alright. We should probably go as soon as we can to a weapons shop to get them something. And then we can go to the stables and get them a horse. And get myself a horse. And then we can be on our way.
We can either leave tonight or in the morning. If you all want to stay at my house, you can.
Just for context, by now the two elders have excused themselves and left. That way they're not hovering over you.
Heath just lets out a sigh and says, "Might be for the best, given that you and Isaac here know more than we do about our situation. Plus, given our circumstances, I don't think I should be around people for very long. So yes, I would appreciate if you let us stay in your house for the night."
Don't harm my kinfolk. That's all I gotta say. If you've got a problem being around people, you tell me now. Do not harm my kinfolk.
I'm not gonna harm anybody.
Okay.
I'll stay up in my room for the rest of the night and we can be on our way in the morning.
All right, let's make our way to the gun shop.
Okay, and then so Laz, you got your shotgun. Cara got her rifle. And then it sounds like Heath was gonna get everybody horses, or
Yes.
okay. Yeah, so you guys actually go down to the Saint Denis stables, and there's actually some horses already prepped and ready for you, courtesy of the Sept. So they got some horses prepped for you guys already, and everybody gets a horse.
Yeah, Isaac would need what he has his own.
Mm-hmm.
Hans.
So does Adrian, yeah.
Yeah.
That was mighty kind of them.
Yeah, and then everybody has the smell of man gift, so none of the horses freak out on you, which is a double bonus. As you guys start to ride out towards the New Hanover Valentine direction, you know, one of the stable hands kind of waves you guys off and says, "Oh, good luck."
Yeah, we'll need it. You know what? Guru don't care if it's day or night. They're better off at night anyway, so maybe we should just leave now.
That's fine with me.
So he'll guide them out of the city, but he's gonna stop by the house first. He's gonna grab some extra food and water and stuff,
Okay.
just to make sure that they're prepared. He introduces them all to his kinfolk, a North African lady that I don't know, she just seems like his opposite. She wears bright colors and seems happy. She's very respectful, calls them all Raya, if any of them have ever actually heard that term before. And yeah, tells them to have fun storming the castle, and then they finally ride out.
Yeah, we'll fast forward probably a day or two it would take to ride out into New Hanover, into the plains. So when you guys arrive, it is in fact a half moon. On the day of the 25th, when you reach the Heartlands, you do see some kind of scattered smoke from various campfires. There's one or two of them out kind of more on the plains over where you suspect the bison would be. For Flatneck Station, it's probably about a half hour rides away, and then Valentine's more along the lines of maybe hour and a half, 2 hours. And we'll say it's pretty early in the day, so it's like it's morning.
As the night went on, Adrian actually put a bandana around his face. Everybody noticed that the trail dust really makes him cough bad. But he doesn't complain. He doesn't ask for help. He just keeps going. And finally, but when they get to it, he looks to the three and says, "What do you guys want to do? This is your deed. What are you guys going to do?"
We should probably start asking around, and the best place to ask is usually a saloon. At least ask around what the the locals have heard. From there, we can figure out where we need to make our first move. Is that alright with you?
I'm asking you guys. Is that all right with you guys?
Cara?
She nods.
Lazlow? Alright. I guess we're heading to the nearest saloon.
Flatneck Station it is.
All right, so you guys head over to Flatneck Station, about a half hour's ride, and it's it's a small train station. It's a small stop. You see one or two people waiting for the next train. There's there's the station master, the guy behind the counter. He's stamping out a ticket for a young couple that look like they're kind of traveling on their way. And then kind of towards the back of the station, you do see there's like a small like storage warehouse where some workers are passing the time playing some poker. And then there's probably a few other people just kind of milling about, trying to kind of keep themselves busy as they kind of pace around and wait for the train. And as you guys approach, you see two men, and they're just making small talk, like talking about the weather, where they're from, stuff like that.
And yes, they are in the train station. Heath goes towards the people that are playing poker,
Mm-hmm.
and he asked them, "Might have room for one more?"
And they eye you up and down a little bit. They kind of size you up. How well dressed is Heath? Is he like dressed nice and fancy, or?
He is he is dressed more or less like the upper echelon of Saint Denis, so a really nice navy blue coat
Mm-hmm.
with a black button-up shirt, a red vest. Wow, I can't talk. A black vest and a light blue shirt, and then with a small a small scarf tucked in within the vest.
Okay.
He has a black cowboy hat and polished off boots, and within his they can kind of peek at the navy-ish intercolored pistols that he has on his hips.
Okay. The four guys around the table, they size you up a little bit, and then the dealer kind of gives a little nod and says, "Sure, sure, city boy.
And
You're
then
welcome to join us."
his demeanor changed a bit. As before, he was more stoic and serious.
Mm-hmm.
He has a big smile on his face and begins to be friendly with those around the poker table. And then he sits down and takes out a nickel. That would be 5 cents. Takes out 5 cents and he puts it on the table. Says, "This good enough to answer?"
The dealer nods and starts passing cards around the table, and you begin playing poker. Is there anything that anybody else wants to do?
Cara is probably going to be outside with the horses,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Okay. And Lazlow, what is Laz up to?
He's not sure and waiting to hear what the rest are doing.
Okay. So for Adrian and Isaac, what are their plans to do? Are they just kind of supervising or hanging out with the horses, or?
Yeah, they were kind of told, the thing is he doesn't want to hold their hand. This is to become a member of the nation, it's
Mhm.
kind of something that they have to do on their own. They're there to be a little bit of protection and guidance if they need it. So when Heath went off, he motioned for Isaac to follow him, and Adrian's going to stay with the horses and just stand there next to Cara just to see what she's doing.
Yeah, Isaac will follow Heath, but not like so close where he's basically hovering over the guy.
Mhm.
He's keeping his distance, kind of watching the people playing poker, see if he can gauge anything from their body language or something like that, their behavior, while Heath uh, has a sit down with them.
Okay.
So he's going to be just observing them, see what Heath is going to do.
Okay. But yeah, as the poker game continues, you can kind of tell Isaac because Heath is an Ahroun, and Ahrouns tend to have a whole bunch of that rage kind of pent up. You can see like the guys around the poker table, they're like starting to sweat a little bit and get a little nervous as the game goes on.
Humans.
Oh, poor humans.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Cara, the horses are doing fine.
Cara isn't so much like taking care of the horses.
Mm-hmm.
She's more just kind of hanging out and listening. She's a people watcher.
Okay.
She grew up in the fucking woods, and so anytime that she did go into town, it was for your necessities, and then you got the fuck back home.
Okay.
So, and like you were always paying attention to what the fuck was going on around you. So that's probably what she's doing. She's just kind of listening, overhearing what conversations she can,
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of the passers-by on the road.
Okay. And then, and Heath is basically doing the same thing with the poker game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He's being more or less friendly, and he's beginning to ask questions as the game continue.
Okay.
And he looks at around the table, says, "You'll see, I'm a bit of a I'm a little bit of a hunter. Y'all got any weird good spots to look for some bison? I hear that's on the rage at Saint Denis these days. And you gotta follow your nose where the trend's head."
Go ahead and let's do like a charisma investigation check, and then we'll just go ahead and do that roll. All right, so you do succeed, and then for Cara, let's do kind of perception alertness. So yeah, as the poker game goes on, and you kind of start your small talk, the guys with you start talking about hunting, and one of the other players, yeah, out over by the plains, like a little ways south from the oil fields. I hear that they've been having trouble with bison herds stampeding the oil wagons or scaring the horses off and other such things.
That's so.
Yeah, apparently they've put out a bounty for every bison killed. You just have to bring back the horns. That's what I've heard.
The fucking waste of materials. Well, at least I know now to where to get my bison. Have you heard anything else about the bounty? Where can I sign up, or where do I turn in the bison horn for it?
Oh, and I heard there's some rich looking feller over in Valentine that's been recruiting folk. I don't know. He's been. I hear there's a fellow over in Valentine that's been kind of, I guess, talking to some of the other hunters, seeing who will do his dirty work for him. And one of the other players just kind of shakes his head and is like, a poor waste of an animal. The other day I came across, I was riding over here, and I came across some of the carcasses just rotting in the sun. It's a damn shame.
And those around him can feel some of the anger pulsing for a second, but he still has that smile on his face. And it says, "It is. Could you imagine all that material out there? What a waste of money."
Is Heath getting even more angry just hearing about this?
Yes, he's beginning to feel a tick from hearing of the wasted resources that could be sold as profit.
Okay, go ahead into your character sheet.
Oh no.
Add a point of rage on there.
Top or bottom?
The bottom.
Ding. All right.
So there you go. You're grumpy.
Yeah. I am grumpy. And
I'm gonna be nice this time and not ask you to roll the frenzy. We'll just say it annoys him a little bit, but not enough to just make him flip a table.
And he says, "Ain't he asks one last question? Says, anything else I should know about the area with bisons?"
Now the dealer speaks up and he says he's like, you can kind of see him like sweating a little bit as he kind of wipes his brow, and he's like, oh, not too much that I can think of. I mean, it's a nice open area. Cowboys come herding their cattle to town every once in a while. I think there's a few rattlesnakes out there, so I'd just be careful where you step and be sure to listen close.
And he nods and puts moves his hat a little forward and says, "Thank you kindly. I just remember I got something to do. So, and he puts down his cards face up and puts a couple bills on the table, and then just walks away from the poker table.
All right, and yeah, and as you leave, you can hear one of them just let out like a sigh of relief, and when they think you're out of earshot, you can hear one of them say, "Oh, geez, that fella sure seemed like he had a big old chip on his shoulder, didn't he? Oh yeah, the way, like, did you see his face when he was asking about the bison? I thought he was gonna flip the table over for sure."
Lazlow says, "What did I get on my poker? On my
Oh,
poker,
you broke even.
I broke even. There you go, Lazlow." And he walks outside to where Cara and Adrian is, and go ahead.
Before he starts heading out, Isaac will catch up with him again and kind of look him over a bit. You'd best get a hold of that.
That smile that he had on the poker table it falls and says, "Right."
All right,
Hard to
and
get
then
used to this.
Mm.
all right, and then
He just stays outside.
moving the attention back over to Cara. So yeah, Cara hangs out by the horses, listens a little bit. Those two men that were kind of small talking over by the horses, you hear them. They're kind of chatting away, and one of them says to the other, "Wait, did you hear about the wolf sighting the other day?" And the other guy's like, "Wolves?" And the first one says, "Yeah, I don't know. While I was out in Valentine having a drink, the wife said she heard something howling out back. She said it wasn't any coyotes either. She said it sounded like a wolf." And the other guy's like, "Huh. Well, I haven't seen or heard any wolves." And they kind of go on talking about wolves for a little bit, and they mention that they heard somewhere north of Strawberry, they heard that the lumber company is actually hiring hunters to find wolf dens and kill wolves because they've been having trouble in that area. Heath and
If she had a cup of coffee, she'd be sipping it. Just interesting.
yeah, and then Heath and Isaac start to make their way back, while Lazlow and Adrian kind of hang out with you, watching people pass by.
So
When
what'd you
there's
find out?
a lull in the people passing by, Adrian's offhandedly just going to ask randomly, "Oh, what do the spirits around here think about what's going on?"
He talking to Isaac or Cara?
He'd be talking to the Theurge usually.
Funny thing, she's baby. She doesn't know jack shit. At the question, she'd just say, "I haven't had a chance to ask."
He nods. He's kind of playing this is what you should be doing kind of deal. You know what I mean? That keep that in your head that people are going to ask you what the spirits say because most of the men here, well, pretty much 3 out of the 4 of the men here probably don't have much experience with spirits.
Yeah, so would Kara like to step aside and step into the spirit world and see if she can ask some of the spirits what's going on?
Would she be able to?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So, what would you do? What you would do would be you would have to step aside to somewhere where no normal humans can see you do it, but usually you have either a reflective surface, which would be your hunting knife, which usually helps, and then you would roll your gnosis, and then depending on how many successes you get, that's how quickly you step into the spirit world, into the Umbra. And then you can just find a spirit and just be like, yo, hey, what's up? But yeah, you have 4 dots of gnosis, so that would be a 4d10.
Alright, so she's gonna, I don't know, find a little spot, a little nook or cranny.
Mm-hmm. All right, so 2 successes. Actually no, 4, because you're out in the wilderness, so difficulty is actually going to be 5. So yeah, you step into the spirit world, otherwise known as the Umbra, just like instantaneously, and
This is gonna be bad, but Adrian is following her, so he's not gonna just leave her in the Umbra all by herself, not knowing what to do. So 9, 8, 7. Okay, worked for me too.
all right, yeah. So Cara, you step into the Umbra like instantaneously, and then a few moments later, you see Adrian just instantly pops in there too.
She's
And
probably scared shitless when it happens, because she thought she was alone. What?
He just motions for her to calm down. Says, I'm just here to make sure everything goes as planned and everybody is as safe as can be.
all right, so the Umbra, the spirit world, it's instantly just feels different from the physical world as you know it. There's like this kind of like just energy in the air. Colors are more vibrant, and you can see like in one of the trees near the station, there's like some birds, kind of some bird spirits. The train station itself, you see it's kind of like covered in spider webs, like as if it's kind of like made out of the stuff. And the railroad track, it's like a mix of like the iron tracks, and then also spider webs, just kind of keeping it all together. And you see like these kind of little almost like kind of steam powered mechanical spiders. They're either like, tending to these webs, or you even see one that's kind of dancing as it's sliding down the railroad track. But yeah, you see some bird spirits in the trees. You do see like you even see like a coyote spirit, a few foxes. They're kind of just minding their own business, and you're just kind of just there, and they don't really seem to be paying too much attention. You see a fox spirit does stop, or no, a rabbit spirit actually stops while he's kind of bouncing along, and he kind of hops over to your feet and just looks straight up at you and wiggles his nose.
Thomas, I work at a fucking pet store. Stop being cute. Stop it.
And the rabbit spirit, looks up at you, wiggles its nose, and hello, Garu, how are you?
And she's gonna, come to sit down on her knees. And she's going to kind of tell the rabbit the TLDR
Mm-hmm.
of her mission. And, it's clear that she's nervous.
Mm-hmm.
She's never gone on this much of an adventure before.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to ask, she's actually going to ask the rabbit what she should do.
Okay.
Because she wants to help.
Okay. Oh, the rabbit looks up at you, and do you tell the long story or the short story?
Kind of the short
Short
story.
story, okay.
Omit some details.
Okay, so basically say, like, you're here to stop the people from just killing animals left and right.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, the rabbit looks up at you and kind of tilts his head a little bit, and he says, "Well, you're Garu, aren't you? Wolves are predators. Kill them."
I need to know where they are.
And the spirit thinks for a moment and says, "The birds say they are." And he pauses, and the spirit pauses for a moment and has a look around and furrows his little brow as he thinks, and his ears kind of point in kind of like a northeast direction. And he says, I've heard the birds talk, and they say the humans are over there." And then he also points to the train station. "There are also humans over here too."
Are you just telling me where humans are in general?
Yes. And the spirit adds, "But the birds also say there are humans that have been hunting the bison. Of course, I am too small for them to notice me and too fast for them to catch me. So I am safe, but the bison are not because they're big and slow. But the birds say that they are over in that direction. There are also other humans over there too."
And she kind of bows her head in respect. Like kind of a thank you. And probably go on her way.
Okay, and then the rabbit spirit kind of bounces off. Uh, yeah, the rabbit spirit bounces off into the fields, and you hear it say, "I am fast."
Living the rabbit life.
Living the rabbit life, and you hear it kind of say, "I am fast. Nothing can catch me." And then a hawk spirit swoops in, takes it up, and carries it off.
Don't fuck with me. I have the power of God and anime on my side. Ah! Thomas, what the fuck?
Adrian pipes up again just to help her out because she seems a little bit confused. He says, "Listen, I'm not great with spirits because I'm not a Theurge, but I do know that spirits act just like the regular animals do, except you can talk to them. So if a bunch of bison were to die, what kind of animals would be around them?"
And she does a big think. The carrion birds.
Why don't you see if you can do something to get a crow over here?
And she's gonna start looking around.
Yeah, there's a few songbirds. You do see the hawk spirit that's kind of flying high up above, and over by sitting on the telegram lines, the wires, do see like a few of the kind of mechanical spider spirits, but then you also see a few kind of crow spirits hanging out on top of there too. And they seem to be just kind of chatting it up with each other.
Well, she's gonna go talk to the birds.
Okay. All right. And then, so you walk up to the telegram line, and it's like I kind of mentioned before. It looks like it's kind of like held up by spider webs, but you do see kind of like the kind of physical world representation there under all the webbing. Like you can see like the wooden pole and the wires and stuff. And you approach the pole, and one of the crow spirits takes notice of you and kind of swoops down onto a fence post and says, "Hey, I saw you talking to that rabbit."
And she's gonna do the TLDR again of why she's there, what she's looking for.
The crow kind of bobs its head in a nod and thinks for a moment and says, "I can show you where all the bison are being killed. if you give me some gnosis.
Alright, so she's gonna give him some gnosis.
Okay, yeah, and it's like this kind of, like you kind of call forth the spiritual energy in like the palm of your hand, and it's kind of like this kind of light, kind of sky blue color, kind of looks like a ball, and then the spirit just kind of absorbs it, just kind of sucks it in, and it's this. Ah, yes, that's the stuff. I'll show you. And it starts flying off. And it starts flying in kind of like a northeast direction.
She's gonna run after it and keep up.
Okay. Alright. And then, do you want to shift into your wolf form, your lupus form, in order to keep up?
She's lived as a human for so long, like most of her fucking life, that she probably hates the fact that she can change and probably won't unless absolutely necessary.
You can see the crow flying farther and farther away as you try to run as fast as you can.
She's probably gonna like call and say like, hey, wait up, because she really doesn't want to change.
Okay, yeah, the spirit kind of doubles back, and as it's flying above you, it says, "Wow, you're the slowest Garu I've ever seen. I've ever met."
She pouts.
Before they get too far, he stops them from going and says, "We kind of need to tell the rest of the group what we're doing. Can't just leave everybody. Not wise."
Oh, I guess she's gonna stop.
Pro is gonna agree to wait for you guys in the Umbra while you go tell the rest of your friends, and you cross over and rejoin everybody else.
And they go back to the same spot where it's hidden, so hopefully nobody sees them come out. We need another roll, right?
Yeah, go ahead and do another roll. It's difficulty 5.
I can't get out of the Umbra.
Well,
Alright, so the two of you are stuck. Isaac, Heath, and Lazlow. Adrian and Cara have not been back in a while.
At this point, so no, we didn't discuss the spirit that he has too much.
Oh, that's right. The owl
Yeah.
spirit. I completely forgot.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We didn't discuss it a lot. And plus I haven't had a chance to add everything on there. The spirit that's with him is able to see past the veil and into the material world, and he has contact with it if it's around, if it's near.
Let's say yes. Yes, it is in here.
Okay. So after a bit, I want to say maybe about 20 minutes, he kind of looks up into the sky. Seemingly he's thinking and speaks out loud. Where are they? And it can either telepathically speak. Yeah, I can telepathically speak to him.
Okay.
So nobody else can hear it except for him.
And this owl spirit is hanging out over by the train station in the spirit side of things. And it answers back, Cara ran off to follow a crow to where the bison have been dying. But Adrian called her back. Tried to cross into the physical, but they are stuck.
Guess we should probably go in with them. Are you two up for that?
Yeah.
Oh, get stuck.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Sure.
He pulls out a mirror. Of course, he's probably going to take him further away from wherever they happen to be, and holds up the mirror for them to use that as like a centering point. He kind of looks at the sewer thing, chuckles a bit. Good luck.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah.
Magic.
from how I've seen it done, the person with the most gnosis in the group can open the way for the entire group.
Oh, okay. Well, that works. I mean,
Yeah.
He doesn't have. I don't think he has the most, but he has a generous.
So that would be
little
Lazlow,
bit.
actually. Laz
Yeah.
has 5 gnosis.
Okay.
So Lazlow, roll 5d10 for me. And then your difficulty is going to be 5 because you're kind of out in the wilderness. All right, so Laz, you lead the way for everybody to cross over into the Umbra, and it takes you about a minute and 30 seconds before the three of you are cross over, and like I was describing before, there's like an energy in the air. Colors are more vibrant. The difference between the physical and the spiritual is very clear. And as you cross over completely, you see Cara and Adrian both kind of half tangled up in webs from their previous attempt crossing over. And of course, it takes no time at all for you to kind of pull them free from the spider webs.
Mara's gonna immediately fill them in on what she's learned. Like,
All right.
the bison have been killed and that sort of thing. And she's gonna gesture to the crow who is gonna show them the way.
And the crow is like flying circles above the group, and it's like slow Garu, very slow, slowest I've ever seen.
So Adrian looks to Isaac, says, the horse is all tied up.
Yeah, they are.
Let's just shift and run after this crow. Let's see what we can find.
At least the crow looks happy. Sounds good to me.
In fact, Adrian tells the Ahroun, spend the point. I can feel your rage.
That obvious, huh?
Yes.
So he dips into his inner rage and begins to shift. So yes, I'm gonna dip into my inner rage and use that as a catalyst to transform
Okay.
into the form that we need.
Adrian's going to use a point of rage because, yeah, that was embarrassing and made him very angry that he didn't make it out of the Umbra.
All right. So
I
you
will try the dice roll just for the hell of it.
okay. So that's gonna be stamina and primal urge. So Isaac shifts over successfully, and you are all now wolves, and you set off to follow the crow. It takes you a while, but soon enough you can smell just the blood and just the general scent of death, as your senses have been enhanced in being a wolf, your sense of smell, and just your perception in general. And you can see a group of spirit carrion birds, vultures, crows, ravens, is kind of flying around. And you do see some other bison in the distance, bison spirits, but you can see that they are running away. And on the spirit side of things, you do come across the bodies of the bison, and it looks like one of them is still alive.
I can't talk to animals. Or, sorry, spirits. Close enough.
This early in the game, usually only the Theurge can.
Theurge. So I just approach it and just stare at it because I can't talk to it. I don't understand.
Sniff at it.
Snorf.
Snorf.
Actually, this gives me a good time to say another thing too, is Adrian probably almost looks exactly the opposite of Zest. He's even though he's a small human being, he's kind of bulky as a wolf, almost like he doesn't have a neck, almost like he's got the body of like a Rottweiler, and he is just jet black completely. And to add to the regalness of his standing, his right ear stands up, his left ear floppy. He can't keep it up.
Oh, jeez. Shut up, Alyssa.
Usually there's medicine
I'll be
for
here
that.
all week.
I said it like that on purpose.
All right.
Yeah, Heath's wolf form would be more agile and the same color as his hair, so it'd be more like golden yellow.
Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
hell, that means mine. You guys probably never even seen an animal like mine. Like, his wolf form looks very much like a jackal. Like, Anubis, almost.
Skinny head, big ass ears.
Big ears, like big old long ears. Very slender, very bleak. So he definitely looks like an Egyptian canine, but with kind of lupine features.
Weirdest wolf pack ever.
Yeah, it is.
None of us look anything remotely close by at all whatsoever.
Adrian could possibly, Adrian would probably pass as a wolf out there. He doesn't look that funny. He's just stocky. He looks really buff. Really domineering is a good word for it. And that's just the way Shadow Lords look.
And he's gonna look at Kana and Agents like, can you guys talk to this one? It's all alive.
Yeah, Kara's gonna, quietly step forward and sit down and start talking to it, I guess.
So the bison, as the bison spirit, as you approach, you see like its eyes kind of light up a little bit, like with an extra glimmer of hope, and it says, "Oh, Garu, more of you have come."
And she nods and she asks about the humans that did this. What did they look like? Where did they go? What sort of weapons did they have? That sort of thing.
And
How many of them are there?
there were 5 of them. And the spirit kind of shakes his head a little bit and he says, all humans look the same. They don't have any fur. They walk on 2 legs. They use other animals to carry them and their things. And they have those loud sticks that shoot thunder. They separated us from the herd, killed everyone. They did not thank the spirits. They did not take the meat from us as predators should. They killed only for their own pleasure. There was a wolf, a Garu that found them. I think she is chasing them. It's hard to see now.
Chasing them right. I can't understand. Sorry, never mind.
And the bison, you can see like the spirit's eyes start to kind of cloud over as the life kind of just bleeds out of it. Is there anything you want to ask before?
Did you see where they went?
And you see the bison kind of tries to turn a little bit. It seems to be kind of like pointing his head over to the east, but you're not really sure. And then you see that the life just kind of fades from it, and the life just fades from it, and it goes limp. And then there's just a moment of silence, and you can hear the cries of the vultures and the other carrion birds as they kind of fly and circle around, awaiting for the group of you to kind of finish your business.
After her little moment of silence, Cara is going to look at the group and explain what the bison saw, assuming that none of them can talk to spirits like she can, and gesture in the direction that she thinks that the bison saw them go.
So, what did it say? Aside
This is
from
the
where
part where
maybe...
you guys jump up and go help the guru that's killing off the people that you were supposed to kill. Come on, people. Or wolves.
So, Heath does stand back from, I guess, waiting for Cara to finish talking. He looks at each one of the group before heading off to the direction. The only issue is that he doesn't know how to get out of the spirit world once this time. He has a 1 in Genosis. Genesois.
Just
So he has he has a 1 dot in Genesois. I don't think he's gonna get out. He doesn't have a very
What?
I don't
Genesois.
even know anymore.
That's probably the worst. Okay, you see the word, and if that's the pronunciation that you think it is, I don't know what to do anymore.
Genesois.
All right. Well,
Alright.
you guys should probably step back into the physical world before you start chasing after the
This
poachers.
this ought to be good.
Oh boy.
Watch us all get fucking stuck.
Hey,
All right.
hey Laz,
Let's-
Laz, do you want to roll 5d10 again?
To open a portal, or otherwise you're gonna watch most of us fail. By mostly me, because I only have 1 dot. So I have 1 chance to get it out. A 7.
Yes. Difficulty 5.
4 successes.
All right. So Lazlow helps open the way, and everybody crosses over into the physical world. And
Before they completely leave the Umbra, Adrian goes ahead and lifts his head and howls out a thanks to the spirit for helping them. I know it's dead, but you have to pay your respects still.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave.
All right.
And then there are wolves out in the not Umbra.
In the material realm.
The weirdest looking wolf pack.
Alright.
But yeah, as you guys leave, you can see the vultures kind of descend down on the dead bison, and they continue the circle of life. But yeah, as you guys follow the direction that the spirit pointed you towards, you can see the tracks pretty clearly enough. And then there's horse tracks and something big, massive, even, like a giant wolf, and even bigger than that. That's presumably chasing after the poachers as they were riding off on their horses. And then it's not long until you see one of the horses just, well, what was a horse, torn to pieces into ribbons. Just a bloody mess, and then the tattered remains of a saddle. And then the tattered remains of a human. And just bits of clothing and boot just scattered all over the place. And then more tracks heading further out.
Looks like we found our targets. And
I'd say.
They're being murdered.
And further up ahead, you do hear a few gunshots go off before a man screams, and then the scream is cut off. And following the trail, you see more pieces of like limbs, human and horse. And then when you finally reach the end, you see this large, hulking monster wolf. Somebody in their Krynos form, with gray fur and muzzle and claws covered in blood. And as the group of you approach, it's just breathing heavy with all this kind of pent up rage. And then it stops, and when it sees you, you see the eyes kind of go from like this kind of blood red to a more normal, kind of like a brown color. And this large wolf monster starts to kind of slowly shift down into kind of a wolf form, and this wolf is really slow at it too, like they're not quite good at it yet. And you see this kind of small wolf, kind of like she was clearly the runt of the litter, and she kind of looks at all of you and says, "Who are you?"
We should probably be asking the same question.
Yeah, Adrian goes forward because he's not sure whose land this is just yet. He hasn't seen any signs for it, so he's gonna take care of it a little bit more diplomatically. He announces himself. I'm Little Shadow reveals the truth. Shadow Lord Philodox, Fostern rank. Is this your territory?
And at the question, the wolf, the other Garu, kind of looks around a little bit as if they don't recognize the area at all. And you see, like, she looks confused and then a little bit scared. And then she kind of like puffs up a bit and she says, "No, I chased them here. I am melting snow."
You have a tribe, Melting Snow?
And melting snow, she says, my grandfather is Uktena. My mother has had many litters of Garu.
Lupus born. Okay. That's what he was kind of figuring, actually.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
DM it to you just so that it was clear.
Yeah. He's figuring it out. Okay. So she's a lupus born and she knows kind of what she is. This is just as good. He looks to the others. It's okay that she killed off all the people that you needed to kill for this, because this is possibly even better for you. Melting snow. We come from a sept. There are a ton of guru there that can teach you anything you need to know, and they can get you to your tribe. There's a lot of things out here that you might not quite understand yet that you need to be very wary of. So I'm not forcing you. Nobody is going to force you or coerce you or anything. But if you could come with us, it'll be better for you. You will live longer.
And melting snow, she squints her eyes a little bit. And, like, it's obvious to everybody that she's a little bit lost. Like, she doesn't know exactly where she is. And she says, why not just take me home back to my sept?
We're all Hamid-born. I'm not sure we could actually tell each other where your sept would be. Do you know any human settlements around it? Do you know how to get there?
And she pauses for a few long moments and kind of takes a look around again. And she says, I'm lost.
All right. Let me confer with my friends for a moment here. Isaac. Or, laughs last. Do you know of any Ukatena septs around here?
The only one I can recall is north. Far north.
How far north?
Maybe a day's ride? 2? I'm not exactly certain. That would be probably the reservation.
All right, you three. My Galliard, my Theurge, and my Ahroun. I'll pose a question to you. Do we take her to her people, or do we take her to our people and hope that our people will take her back to her people? What is the right thing to do?
Can I step in with some context knowledge for you and Jack? So the sept over in Saint Denis has been trying to find the Uktena in this area. They know that they exist. They know that they're connected to the reservation, but they don't know the exact location. What they want to do is try to repair relations and hopefully establish a moon bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, so either way you guys do this, it'll either be it looks good for the pack, or it would make the pack look good, or it would make the sept look good. And that is something that Adrian and Isaac would both know.
All right.
Okay. He still poses the same question to the other three. What do you think we should do? You first, Silverfang. Heath, what do you think we should do?
He ponders for a second. Probably best to take her back with us to the sept, because we might not be able to find this melting snows home, and there might be people, or Garu, sorry, gotta get used to that, Garu more experienced in tracking things down, especially with a guide.
Okay. Your opinion is noted. Lazlow, what do you think?
All right, and Laz says, I do like Heath's idea. Make sure she gets guided in the right direction.
Adrian nods at this, still in wolf form. Then he looks to Cara and says, what says you?
We should return her to her people.
Okay. Then he looks to Isaac. What do you think?
I'm wondering how she got here to begin with.
She ran here. She doesn't
She
know
ran
which
here.
direction she ran in. She just had her first shift. I bet you she
Figured
did
that.
not even know that. I can tell. I can just see it in her face. She's scared. All right,
Yeah.
here's what we're going to do, everybody. We'll get more honor and we'll get more pull with our sept if we return her to the sept. But we will have more sway with her people, and she will be better off with her people if we take her to the Uktena. We're going to go to the reservation. We're going to take her with us. Hopefully, we will come across land that she is familiar with. Then she will guide us the rest of the way. We're going to take her to her people. That is the best way for us to get a moon bridge opened to our sept. Anybody disagree?
Not at all.
No.
And Laz says, alright, either way sounds good, really.
We want to do what's best for her, and we also want to do what's best for us. Taking her to her people is what's best for her, and I believe it's also going to be best for us. Isaac, you know the way to the reservation the best as far as I know, so why don't you go ahead and lead us there. Melting Snow, come with us. We're going to find your home, we're going to find your people, and we're going to get you there.
And when you kind of turn back around to talk to Melting Snow, you see she's in like human form and trying to put on like a pair of boots. And then she looks up when you're talking to her and she says, okay. And then she turns back into a wolf and
Easy enough.
stumbles out of the boots. And she says, let's go home. I want to go home.
Nothing worse than a lupus turning human for the first time. Ugh. Okay, so with that, Isaac leads the way.
All right.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to stick to being wolves and stay off the roads. I don't want anybody seeing wolves and trying to kill us.
Yeah, so he will definitely attempt to lead the way. It's a damn shame they don't have their horses, but not like they need them.
It seems like a pretty good place to stop for the night.
Okay.
Seems like a good stopping point to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I think it's good. We got to know each other. We're starting to work together, and we're trying to get the dice down. That's pretty good.
Yeah.